This video, I'm going to be talking about a simple tool to stop binge eating that you can apply right away and that directly helps you drill into the core problem causing binge eating. So, I'm Jared, former binge eating wrestler. I help people with overeating to really go deep inward and to get down to the heart of this and to overcome self sabotage, inner critic, and to create sustainable, healthy eating habits. And this tool, the hunger scale tool, I'll show a picture on the left and then I'll describe it. This tool works on your body, but as we know, binge eating is more of a mental, emotional, psychological thing. But this tool is very simple and can lead you directly into the internal changes you really need to have to overcome binge eating. So let's just cover this tool real quick. You are to write simply a number based on your hunger or fullness before you eat. So if you're starving, if you're ravenous, that's probably like a 2 or a 1. If you're moderately hungry, your stomach's like a little empty, that's like a 3 or maybe a 4. Neutral's a 5. You get the point. Now, I want to tell you a quick story about how someone I was working with applied this and was able to generate eating enlightenment insights into her mind from the awareness she gained from her hunger tool scale. So let's just jump right in. She is basically a fitness instructor and works back to back to back to back to back. And so during these back-to-back shifts, she's not eating. Now, she starts tracking her hunger. She starts writing down before she eats how hungry she is. And she notices that early on the day, she's not that hungry. But before dinner, she's at like a 1, 2, ravenous hunger. I mean, like just ravenous hunger. And so she'll have dinner, a nice hearty dinner, and then she will keep on going. She will keep on eating. Oh, just one more sweet, and then just one more, and then soon it's just like she's shut down, she's disconnected, and the binge happens, even though she might be full afterwards. And so I introduced her to this concept that one, if more than 5 hours go by without any eating of protein, then your odds of binging go up. And number 2, if you skip meals, especially the main meals, breakfast or lunch, maybe a snack, then also your binging goes up. So I say, let's look at this pattern. She has a couple days of journal entries and she sees, holy shit, the days that I don't have the fitness classes and I'm able to have a lunch with some protein, a little bit of carbs, breakfast, a hearty breakfast, when I have meals that make me feel satisfied internally, my binges go down. And even when I binge, I don't eat as much. She sees the opposite is true as well. On the days that she has fitness classes, she skips lunch, doesn't have a snack, is famished by the end of the night. She'll have one meal, but it won't fill her up, and she'll just go crazy. And so this awareness, this internal awareness, this eating enlightenment insight that she discovered for herself. Very important that she discovers this for herself, that I'm not telling her. She's seeing the patterns. She's seeing the dharma of food, right? She's seeing how this works. And so she develops the internal motivation for herself to eat more during the day. But there's a big, 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 big but here. You remember how I said the hunger tool brings you into the core problem of binge eating, and that core problem was that shame voice, that hot, sticky shame voice that says you're worthless, and you believe that shame voice, right? Let's be honest, that shame voice that you're a failure, that you need to try harder to be worthy, that this is your fault, that you're just a piece of crap, you're worse than others, and you believe it, right? Like that's the problem, the real problem here, the deep problem, the negative voice that of your parents, of caregivers, a coach, society, that voice in your head that you believe. That's the real problem here. And this hunger tool scale can help you start to face that. So for this woman I was working with, the fitness instructor, it led very beautifully into her actually working on this diet voice, diet mentality, shame voice, whatever you want to call it. And how it worked is because she starts to see that this voice makes her want to skip meals. It makes her want to work all day. It makes her want to push, 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 get everything done. Go, go, go. No time for rest. You're a piece of shit. This voice is playing in the back of her head all day long. You got to do this. You got to do that. Other, boss telling her to do stuff. Parents telling her to do stuff. Blah, blah, blah. It's like, it's just an onslaught. And so this onslaught is what she becomes aware of. And this onslaught of shame and stress and worry is what makes her skip meals. It makes her want to restrict. But if she restricts, then she binges. So she really starts challenging these voices during the day, checking in what she needs throughout the day, feeling her body, what she needs throughout the day. And it's very hard at first because she checks in with her body to see what she needs. And she might feel tired or fatigued or hungry or sad or whatever. And the initial response that her brain gives her is to just push through it. But she knows, because she saw this pattern herself, if she just push, 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 foot on the gas pedal, at the end of the day, she's depleted and she's going to binge. So this hunger tool helped to bring awareness to her shame voice that pushed her throughout the day. And she was able to really start fighting back throughout the day. And that's really another key insight about eating enlightenment, is that yes, we focus on the moments before a binge, journaling before a binge. That's like the number one milestone we try to reach in the beginning, journaling before a binge, catching it, doing the cues, etc. But as you get wiser, as you study your eating habits, you really start to realize it's not about preventing the binge. It's about keeping your energy gas tank high enough so that at the end of the day, you have enough fuel in your body and in your mind so that you don't binge. You just naturally don't binge. And if you do feel food cravings, then you're able to do the journaling process. You're able to connect with the negative voice, the positive voice. You're able to journal what you need and do this writing process that basically helps you get through the urge, the binge. But if you're depleted, if you're starving, you can't do this writing process. And so she starts seeing the causes and conditions that lead up to her binging. If we look at this cycle right here, you see that binging is actually sort of, the third or fourth step, but it starts with restriction, right? It starts by those good and bad thoughts, those perfectionistic thoughts. So if you can stop the restriction, if you can hear the restriction, if you can catch the shame voice, as the shame voice tells you just to push through, to restrict, to control, to micromanage, if you can basically fill up your body with food that makes you feel good, that makes you feel content and secure throughout the day, and you can fight back against that shame voice that tells you just to push through, then you will go a long way to keeping your gas tank high enough. And at the end of the day, you'll be in a much, 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 much better position to actually get through the day without binging. And, this is the number one thing I think a lot of times well-intentioned professionals get wrong. They give you a meal plan, and the meal plan is great, don't get me wrong, but they tell you just to follow the meal plan, but they don't talk about that shame voice, the shame voice that, plays like a broken record in the back of your mind that tells you to just push through the meal plan, to ignore your body, right? So we really do need to incorporate both body and mind here. especially that internal shame voice is really a bastard, really a bugger. Yeah, just that shame voice is a bugger. But yeah, so that's how the hunger tool helps you stop the binging, and then ultimately to put yourself in a better position to do the journaling process, to connect with what you need instead of being totally famished. Um, yeah. So if you like the video, be sure to like it and subscribe. Thanks again for your time. Namaste.